Hi guys, this is Tom, and if you're new to my channel, I make videos that help you empower your highest self so that you can tap into and live your dream fulfilling life. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 signs you've had a spiritual awakening or mystical type of experience. Now this is not a complete list, this is simply taken from my own personal experiences of sort of the more powerful spiritual type of experiences I've had. So truth be told, you can have a spiritual type of experience that's more minor than some of the traits or characteristics of the experiences I'm talking about, and it still counts as a spiritual experience. So by all means, take this with a grain of salt. And if you also don't have a clue about what spirituality is, and you're more a rational, scientifically minded person, a very level person, I totally respect that. To give you an idea of my background, I used to be an atheist, an anti-theist actually, going back several years. I loved Richard Dawkins, very into science, very skeptical, and I studied philosophy all throughout my university, and this is some of the stuff I'm talking about has taken literally years of slowly experiencing more and more of it until some of these more powerful experiences happen and completely surprise me and completely open me up to new ideas. So if you haven't had a spiritual experience and you identify with more of that type of personality, I totally respect that. But if you can just have an open mind, listen to these traits, and who knows, maybe one day it'll help you if a similar type of experience appears in your own life. So number 1, the experience itself is absolutely nothing like you've ever experienced in your entire life. And by nothing, I'm talking about if you've taken drugs at a party and you've been high on life and you've been completely absorbed in some weird mental state, it's still nothing like anything to do with that. Or if you've won an award in front of your entire school and been praised and you're absolutely full of joy, it still comes nothing close to what this type of experience is like. It's so powerful and different and slippery, but you know it's significant at the same time. And really, you're just left dumbstruck by what has happened. You really cannot compare it to anything else in your life that you've experienced so far in terms of normal, sober reality, and even not sober, hence why I mentioned if you're at a party and you're drinking and you're on some kind of substance and that kind of can warp you out of your normal reality, even that tends to have a more humanness about it to connect you and ground you in your experience. Whereas an awakening experience, it loses that, it slips away into something far more vast than human experience. So that's a key sign. That's number 1. Number 2 is that it was highly bodily and sensory in your experience. So you don't have to be on any substance. In fact, this happens to you if you're totally sober, just like a normal waking day. Whether you're meditating before, whether it spontaneously happens, because it can be either, you feel a tremendous amount of energy and power and force. And it can be out of your chest, it can be out of your third eye area. That's where the third eye is. And it's undeniable. It's not like, oh, I'm sober and it's just me with a little tingle. It's so powerful, it completely takes over your entire body. It's so evident. It's like if I was to spray a fireman's hose of water directly at your skin and you were to feel something like that, that's the kind of intensity of this bodily sensation. So that's a characteristic number 2. Number 3, and this normally happens to the pinnacle of the experience, is that you reach a state of a profound, deep, intense state of love and bliss and joy. And not a human love. This is why it's very difficult to talk about. It's a transcendent love that you feel an absolute surrender when you really cross into this other spiritual dimension, so to speak. And you realize that all your life you're constantly running around trying to fill a void, feel a little hole in you with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or food, or sex, or more money, or a promotion. All of these things, you're trying to fill something, and most people walk around, they don't even realize that they don't feel complete, even though you're absolutely worthy, whole and complete, is the truth. In a sense, this joy and bliss and love is when you finally, for the first time in your life, feel like that hole within you has been completely plugged and there's just nothing more to do. The way I describe the kind of love is it's as if in a single click of a finger, someone injects you with some kind of chemical that makes your brain think that all of your wildest dreams in life have become instantly, certainly true and real for you right now. Everything you can hope to achieve, true. And there's also some kind of weird shot of a euphoric drug on top of that, and they both click, and it takes your breath away. It can bring you to tears of joy, tears of rapture. Again, it connects to characteristic number 1, that there's no comparative sensation to it. And that brings me to characteristic number 4, which is it can often come with some kind of sense of epiphany or revelation or realization. And this can be about your life, your expression, how you want to continue to live, the kind of things you want to do. You have some realizations about all of that. Or even realizations about where you've held yourself back or where you've been going wrong or falling off track. Something comes up for you. Or it can be more of a revelation about the fact that you intuitively understand that this is the purpose of life. To experience this love, to experience this cosmic universal love. It sounds cheesy, but it's hard to not think that with how powerful it is. And again, I'm a rational person. I know that it's very cliche to think of hippies. You think about hippies and love, and how does that integrate into society? This kind of euphoric, idealistic sense of, wow, this is the purpose of life. If only everyone could have this. I can see the skepticism if you haven't experienced this and you go, how is this applicable to all the real world problems we have? And I agree. That's why, it's not about necessarily a black or white situation where you have one of these experiences and therefore you become naive and idealistic and up in the clouds. No, if anything, you can be motivated and inspired to think of practical, down-to-earth, realistic solutions that can genuinely help awaken other people to their true selves and their true loving nature. That just depends on your personality and your maturity, and I'm not that mature, so maybe I was more on that side for quite a while, but don't let your brain paint this as a black or white situation. So if you have that revelation, that's something worth celebrating. Even though it overwhelms you, you have these realizations. Point number 5 is you're not really sure where to start or what to do about this, because you come back in the sober reality and you see everyone doing their own thing. You feel like, how could I communicate this to someone to help them? Who's ready for this knowledge? Am I even ready for this knowledge? It took me back so much. Maybe your life even starts to feel like it's not relevant or relating to you in the same way. The people you're surrounding yourself by, and you feel like there's this sense of loss and change, and you're a little bit scared and you're a little bit melancholic about that. But that's all normal. You're never going to have a worse life after you experience this, because you realize how fulfilling and worthy, valuable and loving you really are unconditionally. So it's more about how some things have to change while the new comes into place. And there can be this phase of uncertainty on what to do, what the next step is. And even sharing an experience like this, in a way you sense that every time you open your mouth and talk about this to other people, to try and share your information, share your insights, hopefully even make an impact and inspire them to explore spirituality and open their minds in such a way, you know that every word you say can't possibly capture what that experience was like for you, because it's absolutely personal, subjective experience. So that's trait number 5, is that there's this uncertainty with how to proceed back in and integrate yourself back into society. But the point I also want to emphasize it in this is you absolutely can. And I'm going to be sharing lots of videos on how you can become an absolutely functional, more fulfilled, more joyful, more courageous, confident, grounded human being after a spiritual experience. And hence why this channel is about empowering your higher self. Because your higher self is your true self, the true authentic self, the reason you are alive right now. I'll be covering lots of that information on my channel, and also there's so many other resources, books, and other people, figures all over the internet that can help guide you through this process. So keep the hope. If you truly have had an awakening experience and it's turned your world upside down, all I can say is hope. And don't let that experience upset you or make you resentful of the world or misanthropic. That's absolutely the wrong way to take of it. Choose to understand that everyone's on their own journey. Everyone evolves at their own pace, and you've got a lot of work to do yourself. Turn within, and again, as I said, have faith, have hope that you will transform, because transformation is inevitable in your life when you're on the spiritual journey, when you're doing inner personal work on yourself to grow. So these are some of the 5 signs you've had a powerful spiritual awakening or mystical experience. I hope this helps you make sense of it if you're wondering whether you had one or not. And finally, if you like this video, please like it, please share it, please subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to have your support, and I wish you all an amazing week.